All right, and we are live. Just gonna check the chat here and see what is going on. So, if you guys have any questions or anything like that, if you guys want to see my ideas for any future videos or anything like that, I'd be glad. I'd be glad to answer your guys' questions. So, feel free to ask away. How's it going, Charged Up Gaming? Hope you're doing well. Just hanging out. I mean, I couldn't really get the gaming footage up for some reason. I really need to see what the optimum settings are for my PC. But I mean, once I get that going, you'll be able to see like actual footage going on in the background instead of just this scouter eye right here that you see. Because I know it's probably not the most exciting chat ever for the first hangout, but I mean, this is probably the best I can really do. I mean, I only have like 200 subs too, so that's two. That's another thing as well. But I don't know. Have you heard of that one Daddy 05 scandal that's been happening charged? I don't know, that's the only thing I could really think about lately. Or I don't know. I don't know. Even like the last episode of Super, like what do you think about that? But But I don't know. If anyone wants to get into this call with me, just let me know and I'll try and add you or something. Definitely be glad to. But yeah, I mean, with the last episode of Dragon Ball Super, it's pretty insane how strong number 17 is. Like, me and Geeklist and Particle were actually talking earlier, and we were actually like speculating about how strong he was. And Geeklist said that I guess Seth the programmer thinks that he is like around 1 or 2% Super Saiyan Blue level. So I mean, that's pretty crazy whenever you really think about it. But I don't know. One thing I'm really looking forward to, like I've said in my reviews just earlier on, whenever it comes to this tournament of power, I'm honestly just looking forward to the fights. Just, I mean, a lot of people have kind of expected some things out of Dragon Ball Super, like whenever, like say, whenever the Future Trunks arc first started, people were, I don't know, just kind of overhyping the series and saying like, oh, this is going to be like the most dark series of all time. Like this is going to be the most dark arc and this is going to deliver the ultimate story. So it's kind of crazy. But let's see if anything's going on in the chat. Yeah, I kind of did too many test streams today, so I understand if people are kind of just coming in and leaving. So there's that. I mean, like I said, once I get everything situated with the gaming footage, it'll be all smooth sailing from there. But I mean, if anyone wants to get into this chat, just let me know and I'll be happy to add you. And I don't know, maybe you could just have a chat with someone I've never talked to before. Just let me know. But what else has been going on in the YouTube community lately besides that whole Daddy of 5 incident and what else? Because I mean, I know that there have been spoilers that Geekdom has revealed, like regarding Dragon Ball Super. But what else has been going on that you guys really want me to talk about? I know there's only 2 people here, but if you guys could give me something to work off of, I would definitely be happy to answer some questions or anything like that. Just let me know. All right, Charged Up Gaming. Yeah, 17 is savage. He gave my man Goku a run for his money and made him transform. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people have been saying that. I mean, my theory about it is that, like, the reason why Goku, in my opinion, transformed into the Super Saiyan Blue form is just simply so he can actually show Krillin and all them, like, hey, you're going to be fighting god tier characters whenever it comes to this, whenever you go into the Tournament of Power. So you better be prepared. I mean, that's just a matter of fact. And one moment, guys, I'm actually going to type on Twitter that I'm live right now, so maybe more people will actually come to this stream. Because right now, I don't really have much to work off of. But, I mean, I'm really liking Super right now. A lot of people have been saying, like, oh, this arc is kind of devoid of, I guess, say, action, fighting. But I don't really mind it. Because, I mean, whenever it comes to slice of life anime, I'm actually a really big slice of life anime fan. So, that's probably one of the reasons why I'm perfectly fine with it. But I'm going to see real fast if there's anything new in the chat over here. Nope. Yep, I mean, I hope that whoever's watching right now, just one viewer, might be you, Charged Up Gaming. Hope you're still watching. But I mean, I don't know. Feel free to ask me any questions. I mean, that could definitely help out whenever it is just carrying a stream like this by myself. Oh no, no viewers, no. I'll just wait until someone else comes in. But oh well. Yeah, I don't have any viewers right now, so just basically carrying the stream. How's it going? I hope that you're all doing well. I am live right now, and I lost the viewer. Okay, well, I'm just going to go and try and post this stream online. Okay. But yeah, I mean, like, I'm pretty stoked for the Universal Survival arc. Like, I mean, I know that you, my one viewer right there, yep, that's you. But what do you think about the Universal Survival arc? Like, are you happy with this? Damn it. Lost that. Yeah, but I mean, 17 really is very, very powerful whenever it comes down to it. But I mean, gosh, like whenever it comes to the future episodes, I'm just waiting for Roshi to get Super Saiyan Blued, like how Goku's been doing over to Krillin and Roshi. But yeah, I kind of spoiled it with that whole setting up a whole bunch of live streams and kind of not having everything together. But I couldn't get I mean, I'm sorry guys, I couldn't get the gaming footage together, but I mean all that I can really do now is just do a Q&A because I need to really figure out my computer's capacity. But hey, I mean, so okay. So whenever it comes over to the Universe Survival arc, me and Geeklist and Particle were actually discussing how many episodes would be suitable for this. And me and Particle were saying that it would actually be really good for it to be around 15 to 20 episodes. What do you guys think about that? I mean, how many episodes would you be satisfied with in this Universe Survival arc? But yeah, I mean, I know you guys have been kind of neglected with content for my channel lately, but once I actually come back on and regularly upload again, I'm going to be uploading some really nice videos for you guys. I already have 3 anime reviews ready. And for that one person here who's watching that, you're going to get some spoilers. So you're in store for Trigun, Yu Yu Hakusho, and Fruits Basket reviews. So, I mean, if you really like those animes, you'll definitely be pleased with the reviews that are coming in the future. And another question I really want to ask you guys is how strong do you think Gohan is right now? Because I've gotten a lot of mixed opinions. A lot of people don't think he's as strong as his ultimate form, and some people think he's as strong as he was way back, I don't know, way sometime in the Cell arc or so. Let's see what Charged Up Gaming has to say. Is this counting the episodes where he's gathering the team? Yeah, I would kind of count all that. Because, well, I mean, to me, they could be split up into two sections. One section being the preliminary fights, and the second section being the whole team gathering. And so I don't know, the whole third act of the series seems to be the actual tournament itself. I mean, unless if something like actually comes in between them during that time, which we actually have no idea is going to actually happen, then it's possible. But I mean, I'm interested in hearing just your opinion in general, Charged. And yeah, another thing I wanted to ask you, Charged, because I assume you're the one who's here, is what do you think about me doing a Pokemon Crystal playthrough soon? Because a lot of my subscribers are pretty stoked about that. And wow, Real to Real came in, and hopefully he might still be there. Damn. I never even realized that Real to Real was in this chat. I do need to actually send this out, though, and see if I can get more people in this stream, because it's been consistently between 1 and 3, and I know it's partly because of my subscriber count, but still, I'd like to have some more engagement in here. Okay, I am actually, well, okay, well, no one's here, so I'm just going to actually send this right now. Okay, I am actually going to post this on Twitter, and hopefully some more people come over to this chat and ask me some questions. But I hope you are doing well. I'm just here actually very stoked for the Universe Survival arc coming up. Like, I mean, it's already here, technically, but I'm really excited for the tournaments because we've never seen anything like this in Super before, where teamwork is so heavily emphasized. And, I mean, if you were to analyze the past series, DBZ, you would see that power mattered so much in that series, way more than it seems to matter now. And that's one of the reasons why I like Super. And one of the reasons why I think that comparing Super to Z is kind of unfair. But I am going to post this on Twitter right now, so maybe some more people come in here. Maybe they could ask me some questions and see if there's anything they want to know. And I misspelled with I've live. Wow. Yeah, sometimes I do typos too. I guess it comes with just typing really fast. But still. I'm going to check the chat right now and see what everyone's saying, because I have not checked it since I was over trying to get people on this stream, honestly. So let's see what everyone's saying right now. And what exactly do you think sounds fun? Charged it. Do you think that the actual fights of the tournament seem like they were going to be fun? Because yeah, I mean, if you're talking about that, I totally agree with you. I mean, the whole thing about this arc, I don't really think it's fair to actually expect something grand, like some kind of grand story. Like, I mean, of course there's stakes, because to me, stakes is different than there being a grand story. Like the whole Goku Black arc, Future Trunks arc, the Zamasu arc, that had a grand story. That villain was actually kind of complex to a degree, but I mean, I've seen some people say that other stories have done it better. But whenever it comes to this universe survival arc, we can't really expect like a masterpiece of like Shakespeare's story or something like that. Like, to me, we kind of have to just expect just a fun arc. It's not really going to be more than just a little bit of fun. So, I mean, if you're expecting anything more, Yeah, you're going to be disappointed. Yes, I've seen people in my Twitter feed who are really pissed off about the superpower scaling. Like I've seen a lot of people who are pissed off about Krillin and Goku actually. Well, some people say that that Goku and Krillin were actually fighting kind of head to head in a way. But I don't think so. I think that Goku was holding back. I mean, even if Goku is using even 1% of his power, that's still an astronomically high amount of power to use on Krillin. So, I mean, while there's not so much a focus on a concrete power scaling in Super, I mean, there is actually new concepts being brought to the playing board over here. Like we are seeing new concepts here in Super that hasn't really been explored in Dragon Ball or Dragon Ball Z. I mean, they're both the same thing, but technically. All right, let's check the chat over here, see what everyone's up to. Okay, no new comments. Okay. Well, since I only have one viewer here, I thought you are worthy of some spoilers. So, I mean, if you like my power level series, I will give you a spoiler right now of what Full Power Perfect Cell is going to be in my power level series. And that is 5 billion. So you just got a spoiler there. Yeah, but I mean, do you have any questions for me? That's one thing. Have no fear, for I am here. I have no fear now, ultimate Snoopy-nator. Just ask me your questions. Is it over 9,000? Will his arm ever grow back? Are those buildings really full, not on Sundays? That is a question. But yeah, I mean, kind of going on off that tangent, I mean, how many of you guys have watched the Ocean dub growing up? Yeah, if you said yes, then you know the cringe that I feel. But if you said no, let me actually expand on this story a little bit. So whenever I was younger, there was no Kai. So if you're somebody who's gotten introduced to Kai right away, you're a lucky one. My experience growing up was hearing lines that were actually reserved for the corniest superhero shows imaginable. You just wait till it grows back. Exactly, Snoopy-nator. Oh my god. Seriously, like those lines actually are probably in line with as cheesy as the Power Rangers are. Like, yeah, I was a big fan of the Power Rangers show. Like, oh my god. But that show is so cheesy whenever you really break it down. Oh my god. So, was it as bad as you thought it was, Snoopy-nator? Because whenever I watched it back then, I was like, oh my god, this is the most awesome thing ever. I have to explore this series more. And then whenever I got into it more, I actually discovered the Japanese version because I rented a DVD and I was like, well, Dragon Ball is in Japanese. And Hastings still existed back then. So I was like, gotta rent this. whenever I actually rented it, I was like, because the first thing that came up whenever I put the Japanese version on, like you have to keep in mind, I was not used to like cussing in Dragon Ball. So the first thing that came up was Frieza yelling, "You bastard!" to Super Saiyan Goku or Super Saiyan Goku. Kind of got, I mean, I don't know. I say both now just because being on YouTube, people have given me kind of shit for saying Saiyan or Saiyan. And I'm just like, damn it. Might as well just say Saiyan. because people just give people shit, and that's like what they focus on. I actually like some of the performances, but let's see. Charge Up Gaming said first, I have only seen a couple of clips. Yeah, I mean, if you judge them off those couple of clips, yeah, you're gonna think it's the most ridiculous and cheesy thing ever. But I mean, as a whole, it's not like the worst thing on the planet. It's just very like 90s. Like that's the only way I can really explain it. And let's see what Snoopy Nader has to say. I actually like some of the performances, though other than a couple of voices like Vegeta, it was way worse than I thought it would be. Wow, well then, I kind of feel like my childhood was kind of unique then. But not really unique, but just more of like a different experience than those who have grown up with Kai. So, because I mean, whenever the first Funimation dub came on, like I honestly think that that dub was worse than Ocean. Like, go and watch the Ginyu Force dub. Like, whenever Goku fights Birder, Jace, and Ginyu for the first time, like the original Funimation dubs, and you will see a dub that's worse than even Ocean. Like, I swear to you. But I mean, going back onto Ocean dubs, like, oh my god. Like, I mean, if you've seen Phalus's video, like, Phalus, fuck, I can't remember his name. But I mean, if you look him up in the, like, Dragon Ball, like, worst censoring things, like, you will actually see, like, some of the things that people who grew up without Kai had to endure. And a lot of people who say that Kai sucks, I mean, you have no idea what people went through back before everything became more modern and the voice actors became more polished and actually knew what the characters were all about. Let's check this out. I'm glad I got into the Kai first. I loved DBZ game when I was playing on the SNES. So my dad got me season 1 of Kai, and I adored it. The performance script fights, it was so good. Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. Like, I actually rewatched Kai, like, recently, the Saiyan arc, and I was like, holy crap. Like, this is actually way better, way to the point, way more accurate. And because to me, somebody who prefers the manga to the anime, not whenever it comes to Super, though, but a guy who prefers the manga to the anime, I actually like Kai a lot better. I mean, spoilers, one day I'm going to hold my orange bricks as kind of like a drawing gift for like 1,000 sub count, sub special. But the whole thing is with the orange bricks is I'm mostly holding that special just so I can get rid of them and have the Kai part actually be part of my main gallery. So that's kind of one of the things about me actually holding that as some kind of drawing or something for 1,000 sub special. I mean, I actually have like 2 coloring books or 2 drawing books that are kind of from back in the day, like the 2000s, early 2000s, of like how to draw Goku, Vegeta, Trunks, the Ginyu Force, Frieza, Cell. I mean, I have those books, and I'm planning on oh my god, screw the orange bricks. But I'm planning on holding, I don't know, some kind of drawing or something for like 1,000 sub special. But maybe I'll just send them to you for free, Snoopy Nader, just so that way you can like smash them like Ramble did. What's up, Mr. Ninja Star? I hope everything's going well with you. I hope you're still up for collaborating on a Yu Yu Hakusho video one day. Because I was saying earlier in this stream that I have a Yu Yu Hakusho Season 1 review going up kind of soon. Like, it's probably going to be like a semi-spoiler review, but I kind of want to have discussion reviews based on Yu Yu Hakusho. But so far right now, I have 3 anime reviews. Like, I have Trigun, I have Fruits Basket, and I have Season 1 of Yu Yu Hakusho all written and ready to go. But the thing is I don't want to upload them until I'm done right now with what I'm doing in school. And I'm glad that someone feels like that Yu Yu Hakusho would actually be good material, because some people suggested it to Hell Zeon, and he said that he didn't think it'd be very interesting. And I'm actually curious to why is that? Because to me, a lot of people have been, I don't know, because to me, the whole thing is with Yu Yu Hakusho right now. Herms is actually reviewing it right now, so at this point, getting on the Yu Yu Hakusho train would actually be the best decision right now if you're looking for views as a YouTuber. I mean, so to say. But let's check the chat real fast again. I know I missed one. And yeah, that video you sent me a week or two on Twitter, I watched that video and I had no idea the censorship was that bad until that video. Yeah, and for those wondering who just got into the chat right now, we're talking about Phelan Fortis's video, Phalus. But if you look him up, look up the worst Dragon Ball censorship, the worst 15, and you'll see exactly what I mean whenever it comes to the Ocean dub and the actual censoring whenever Dragon Ball was first released here in America. I mean, of course, the whole "he was a brilliant scientist" is one of the things that's in that video, but you actually see some things that I actually forgot about. And I'm someone who grew up with the Ocean dub. And I watched that video, and there were some things I was like, oh my god, I didn't notice that, or I completely forgot about it. Okay. Yu Yu Hakusho would probably be great material. Honestly, if you go into the differences between the anime and the manga, yeah, I understand that. Because Herms has been posting both from the anime and manga. If any of you haven't followed him, at symbol Herms98, he has reviewed the whole series of Yu Yu Hakusho. And he has not even gone into the whole, just the anime. He's actually reviewed everything from the anime to the manga. And he's shown a lot of differences that are from both of those adaptations. It's kind of like Trigun. Like Trigun and the Trigun manga are both pretty different material, but whenever it comes down to it, they're kind of similar, but they are both different stories. So I've seen some really like gruesome scenes in the manga of Yu Yu Hakusho, like compared to the actual anime. And I know that the reason because of that is because of the TV standards. And even though the TV standards of the time, he was a brilliant scientist. Okay, well, sorry to cut myself off, but I'm going to read some more comments. I would definitely be down to do some sort of Yu Yu Hakusho character analysis video because that's what I'm really confident for. If I do a Kuwabara one, I might invite you if you're down. And you know I would be down for that, Mr. Ninja Star. Because one thing about me is that I'm actually going through the arcs and analyzing them and reviewing them. And like I said before, I only have season 1 done. But I really want to get some guests for certain arcs. So, I mean, if you were to want to review an arc, I would actually be up for that. Because right now I have Reel to Reel kind of on my wish list for getting for the Dark Tournament. And I kind of want to get either Quaman or Laughingstock Media for the Chapter Black arc. Because I've heard that those guys are really big fans of those arcs. And yeah, for the Three Kings arcs, yeah. Okay, the only arc I can't passively talk about is the Three Kings, considering how bored I am of the arc and how there's not much point other than it being the last-minute rushed arc by Togashi. Yes, I agree with you. Because, see, that's one of the reasons why I'm not having anyone for my Season 1 review. My Season 1 review, well, I mean, just Season 1 review or the Spirit Detective arc of Yu Yu Hakusho in general, a lot of people, that's not their favorite arc, and a lot of people with the Three Kings arc, that's not their favorite arc as well. So my thing is with that is I thought I would do the first and last arc solo and try to get a guest or two for the two, I don't know, the two good arcs, so to say. Because I know Reel to Reel really wants to talk about the Dark Tournament, and I know that he really likes that. And then with Quaman and Laughingstock Media, I know that they're really, really huge fans of the Chapter Black arc, so I'm gonna want to try and, well, I'm gonna contact them again and see if they're up for that. Because last time I contacted them, I mean, it was on Twitter, and I asked Quaman, like, hey, would you ever be up for doing a review on the Chapter Black arc of Yu Yu Hakusho? And he said to ask Laughingstock Media. And then Laughingstock's media response kind of made me think like, oh gosh, I think that they interpreted me of asking that question of can they do a review instead of like, hey, can you come with me on Skype and talk about Yu Yu Hakusho? So I definitely need to ask them again. But I'm going to look at this. If I ever get a copy of the Orange Bricks, I am going to send them to the next dimension. But gosh, I don't know. Brian Drummond as Vegeta saying the next dimension is just one of the most hilarious and meme-worthy things of all of Dragon Ball. But whenever it comes to the Orange Bricks, yep, I agree with you. One of the reasons why I want to hold them in for a drawing is because those things are literally worthless beyond the fact that they have the Japanese dub on them. If they didn't have the Japanese dub, I would be so disappointed with them. Because I mean, like, back in the day, you saw the Orange Bricks, and if you saw the commercials, it was like, the way it was meant to be seen. And then you get the Orange Bricks, and it's like, wow. I'm really, really unimpressed. Like, the voice acting sounds even less passionate than the Ocean dub. I mean, until you get maybe past the artificial humans arc, it's not so bad. But, I mean, the Saiyan arc is just so boring whenever it comes to the Orange Bricks and Vegeta. But yeah, how's it going, Trunks Briefs? First time I've ever seen you comment on my channel or be in a live stream before. Let's see what Mr. Ninja Star has to say. Well, here we go. I actually missed one from Snoopy Nader. Man, I wish Togashi hadn't rushed that arc. There were countless absolutely fantastic concepts there, but absolutely none of them was explored. So much wasted potential. And yep, I agree with you there whenever it comes over to the Three Kings arc. I mean, I know you guys, anyone who's actually kept up with Yu Yu Hakusho has known that that arc was originally supposed to be like a war arc. So whenever we just actually get like a half-assed tournament where it goes like 2 rounds and then we see Yusuke just black out and then everything is just done, yeah, that's going to be a huge disappointment. So yes, I definitely agree with you that they could have done that arc better if it was actually put, I don't know, if there was actually more passion put in that arc. That could have actually been a legendary arc of Dragon, or not Dragon Ball, Yu Yu Hakusho. Let's see what else is going on here. I believe the original concept is a demon war, which was, yep, damn. I said that for basically nothing. I believe the original concept is a demon war, which have been far more interesting, but due to Togashi's stress and health, issues were kind of left off with what we got. Yeah, that's true. But a lot of people have also been saying, well, a lot of people said, should I say, that Togashi wanted to end Yu Yu Hakusho so that way he can get started with Hunter x Hunter. And yes, I know you're going to crucify me, Snoopy Nader, but I still have not seen it. Yes, I haven't. I have not seen Hunter x Hunter yet, and I know I should. Okay. I love Vegeta so much. Kind of sucks that that dub was so bad. Yes, I agree. Brian Drummond's Vegeta, and what do you think about the Piccolo in that dub? Because I actually think the Piccolo of that dub is better than Chris Sabat. Like, yeah, I know that that's going to get some dislikes, but I actually do prefer the Ocean dub Vegeta and the Ocean dub Piccolo better than Chris Sabat. So I'm going... So yeah, there's that. I love Brian Drummond as Ryuk in Death Note, and his Vegeta is really underrated. I agree. I mean, whenever I come to think of Vegeta in the English dub, I mean, it could be just because I grew up with the Ocean dub. I actually think of Brian Drummond. So to me, that is like the original Vegeta to me. Like, I know that Chris Sabat is basically the Vegeta, but to me, Brian Drummond was the original Vegeta to me. So it's kind of crazy. I mean, it's kind of crazy whenever you think about how like nostalgia and stuff like that can affect your perception, I guess. Because yes, I know I like with my power level videos, I try to be as less biased as I can. But sometimes whenever it comes to anime in general, yep, I can be pretty damn biased. Let's see. Wait, Brian Drummond plays Ryuk? Seriously, I loved his performance there a ton. I never would have guessed that it was the same voice as Ocean dubs Vegeta. Yes, I agree with you. But whenever it comes to Death Note, the first half is just amazing. And the second half is okay, but the first half of Death Note is so I don't know. To me, it was such a revolutionary anime whenever I first discovered it. I mean, it's not just because of the art style, but just because of the concepts in the show. I mean, you really do sympathize with Light. Because if you were actually there with a Death Note, like, wouldn't you like take it and like, I don't know? Because to me, I know it's pretty twisted, but I would probably like write people's names who have like abused people who I've loved in the past or something like that. Like, especially if I was like a heated teenager in that time period, I who knows what I would have done with like a Death Note. But I mean, I wouldn't have done it to like anyone who wasn't just like straight up evil. But let's see. The L arc is my favorite manga arc, and it is my top 5 anime arcs. And though the second arc was a lot weaker, I heard it was better in the manga, so I'm reading it through right now. Well, let me know how it is, Ultimate Snoopinator, because whenever it comes to the Death Note manga, it is very expensive compared to others. Like, seriously, like that manga, Death Note and Black Butler, those mangas are so fucking expensive. Like, it's ridiculous. Majin Vegeta, Dragon Ball GT equals trash. No, it is not trash, but it is, I don't know. It's basically like the Diet Coke of Dragon Ball. I don't know. I can't think of all the other things that Dr. Evil said. Of like, it's the Diet Coke of evil. I like GT as much as Z, just Saiyajin. It's pretty decent. I agree with you. Because, I mean, it's not just because, like, I mean, Zeon brought it up. He brought it up to the front that GT is not as bad as people think it is. I mean, if you watch the baby arc, there is a lot of good concepts there, and even though they're not fully fledged out and explored as much as they could, you have to admit that Baby is a lot deeper of a villain than, say, Frieza, or Cell, or Boo, or even Piccolo Daimao. And Piccolo Daimao is pretty awesome. It's like Diet Coke in that it's good until you have too much, then you get cancer. I actually don't have a nutrition degree, so I couldn't attest to that. But to me, I don't know, Dragon Ball in general is junk food anime, in my opinion. Like, I love Dragon Ball. I'm a fanboy. I'm blinded by my bias. But I will go past my bias for a second to say that Dragon Ball is the junk food of anime. And kind of so is Naruto and Bleach to an extent. Okay. Yeah, he had his How I Rank the Dragon Ball franchise and Why I Like Dragon Ball GT videos. And I agree with literally everything he said in both of those. Except Super, I put that at a 1 out of 10. Well, there's only one anime that has ever gotten a 1 out of 10. And I challenge you to watch that, Ultimate Snoopinator, or anyone in this chat. And that is School Days. I mean, if you say that you like slice of life moments of Dragon Ball, then watch School Days and see how much you want to pull your hair out. See how much you want to punch the main characters. And yeah, I lost some viewers because School Days trigger people that much, I guess. But still. I mean, if you look up School Days, that is absolutely the worst anime of all time. That seriously is. Like, I don't understand how anyone can watch that anime and have any sympathy with any of the main characters. And I'm talking about School Days for those viewers who are just barely entering. Like, oh my god, that anime is just way too much. Oh god, no. Kill it. Kill it with fire. Laughing my ass off. Yeah, I agree there. I mean, if you're creating an anime for the sole purpose of being terrible and having all the characters just be absolutely despicable, I understand your aim with creating School Days. But to me, like, I would say Dragon Ball Super right now, if I were to have to rate it, I would probably rate it like a 3 out of 10. Yep, 3 out of 10. Because right now, I would put the Beerus arc of Dragon Ball Super, I would rate that, I would say a 2 out of 10. The Resurrection of F arc, a 1 out of 10. The multiversal tournament with Universe 6 and 7, I'd say that's about a 4 or a 5. The Future Trunks arc, probably the same. And so far, I actually like the Universe Survival arc the best. And yes, I know, Snoopy Nader, I know that a lot of these episodes have been driving you absolutely insane. But I've kind of I don't know, maybe I've developed Stockholm Syndrome or something at Dragon Ball. But I've gotten to the point where I'm just like, yep, Dragon Ball Super is not going to stay consistent to Dragon Ball or Dragon Ball Z in terms of what we know. Because in terms of what we know is that team-ups does not mean shit. Because if you were to go back to Dragon Ball, you know that team-ups don't mean anything. Let's just start off with the basics. The humans and Piccolo and Gohan versus Nappa. Everyone had the team-up effort on Nappa, but no one was able to get the upper hand on him, and it was just heavily hammered in the whole entire time that it's because Nappa is so strong, that's why he's overtaking everyone, and teamwork does not matter. Like, it doesn't matter how much teamwork you do against someone who's so insanely strong that they're going to take you out no matter what. And I mean, that was further reinforced with Frieza. Like, Frieza is introduced being as the most strong thing of all time. But you don't think that if there's a team of 10 who goes up against Frieza, who, say, are even half as strong, like, you don't think that those people can team up and actually take on Frieza based on what was given back at that time. Like, it was just emphasized so much that no matter what, no matter if you aren't the same playing field as that strong character, you just have no chance. And that's just as simple as it gets. So, back to what I was saying, I'm accepting that Super is doing something different than that and kind of contradicting past information, and I'm just going into this arc expecting nothing but good fights. LMFAO. So far, I put the Universal Survival arc at a 4 out of 10. It's not awful. In fact, 77 through 82 were actually pretty good overall. It's 73 through 76 that I put like a 2 out of 10 and 1 out of 10 rankings. And yeah, I understand that. Like, I know that I do power levels. I know a lot of people consider me to be a power scaler, but I'm not really too hung up on the whole power scaling thing right now. Like, I know that that's kind of like, yeah, it is kind of a lack of critical thinking in a way, and kind of a lack of trying to stay unbiased. But I really just want to see what Super has to offer in terms of these team ups and getting the main characters relevant again, because I've seen so many people really want these side characters to be relevant again. And so since they're being relevant again, I'm basically taking it for what it is, because I was someone whenever I was younger who was just like, after the Cell arc, why aren't Krillin? Why aren't Tien? Why isn't Yamcha? Why aren't any of those guys actually getting actually involved in the story? And so my thing is that I was just like, if there could just be one arc sometime in the future where they have some shine, I will be okay. And yes, I know that the resurrection of F arc gave that to an extent, but those were just Frieza soldiers that Ten Shinhan, Krillin, and Roshi were fighting. They never got to fight Tagoma or anyone like that. And I can't remember that one red dude. He was basically so unimportant that I literally don't remember his name. Like I mean they could have, but let me see. So let's see what the chat has to say. They could have done something to Nappa if Gohan didn't freeze. At least that's what they said. Yes, I agree with you. There's actually a what if scenario by that Drandosk guy. I mean, that was whenever he used to go by Venom 1089. I don't know if it's out there, but maybe you could find his fan fiction of what if the special beam cannon or the Mankako Sapo. What if that hit Nappa? But sorry, I kind of didn't really explain that too clearly, but what I meant to say is that in his story, everything goes according to plan. Like, Gohan hits Nappa with a Masenko, and in that fan fiction, Piccolo charges up the Makanko Sapo, and he actually nails Nappa with that blast. And it's basically kind of like a what-if scenario, like what if Piccolo and Ten Shinhan survived the Saiyan arc? And I don't know if it's still out there, but I mean, if you guys are interested, it's Venom 1089, and search something along the lines of like fan fiction. He also had like a really neat fan fiction of like Cooler like gaining the ultimate power in hell or something like that. So it was pretty interesting stuff. But let me go on to the chat. Personally, I care about power scaling. If it makes no sense, I can't feel tension, because I know they'll just boost a random character to be on par with the main villain for a little or no reason. So I do have a question for you, Snoopy Nader, and that is, I've seen Super Jaiyan. That guy said that they've been doing these kind of power-ups since the Frieza arc with Piccolo and the merged fusing. So what do you think about that? Because that actually is a really good point whenever it comes to power scaling Dragon Ball in general. Because for me, like, Nail said that Piccolo's power was astonishing at that time, and Nail's power was 42,000. And even if you were to lowball Piccolo, I couldn't see him being anywhere less than maybe like 50 or 60,000. 60,000 is where I have him at personally. Sorry. But my point is, whenever Piccolo and Nail fused, they gained a tremendous power-up that would actually be illogical and pretty hair-pulling whenever you look at it back then. So if we were to witness the Frieza arc right now, do you think we would be freaking out as much as that kind of power-up? Or do you think that we would be accepting as we are now, just because Dragon Ball is a past series? And yeah, that's basically the end of my question, but I will answer some more. Check out the chat. GT had Baby and Shenron arcs. Those are the best arcs in GT. In Super, we already have Goku Black Saga and the top arc right now. GT equals Super as of right now. In terms of overall quality, heavily opinionated. And there's nothing wrong with being opinionated. And I don't know. The thing is, for me, I view GT as a superior series. But this, I mean, the whole thing with me, I've said that Super could change my perception with just one arc. If there's just one amazing arc, that literally could top my opinion of GT. Because right now, I would say that I would rate GT like a 6 out of 10 overall. And those of you who are curious of my other ratings for DBZ or Dragon Ball, I would probably rate DBZ like an 8 out of 10, and I would probably rate Dragon Ball a 9 out of 10. Because I honestly think that Dragon Ball, yeah, I mean, it's cliche, I know. But Dragon Ball is an amazing series, and that's because it eased us into the whole story. Because whenever you enter the whole DBZ portion, the power scaling is already kind of a mess, and people have already reached tiers to like planetary, galaxy levels. I mean, it gets pretty insane whenever it comes to even just the Raditz arc. Well, not the Raditz arc, but the Raditz portion of the Saiyan arc. But you get what I'm saying. While I don't particularly like the Nail / Piccolo fusion, I do think it's at least something. It's better than 17 being SSJG SS level tier with no explanation, even if it isn't great. Yeah, I mean, I can agree with you on that. Because, I mean, yeah, because fusion is there later in the series. I mean, I know that that's kind of a moot point whenever it comes to comparing it to the earlier portion of the series. But in the later portion of the series, fusion is established to give a massive, massive power up. And I know some people have different opinions of whenever Piccolo fused with Kami, but I don't think it was as big of a difference, a big of an increase as whenever Piccolo fused with Nail. Because whenever I come about power scaling, I don't go about it just like having, I don't know, some mathematical formula just off the bat. Like, for me, I first and mathematics second. Because to me, what matters is that the story lines up with the power scaling. Because you do have to take into account that Akira Toriyama is not thinking about numbers when power scaling the series. So my approach to power scaling the series, and I think it's a bit different than what Seth the programmer does, is I come at it from a storytelling perspective first, and then I do the feats and the mathematics second. And that's just my personal style of doing it. I don't consider it to be right or wrong. It's just, to me, I consider this to be my style. And a big reason is because I'm such a huge story fanatic. And so for me, the story matters a lot more than just people's calculations or mathematics or, I don't know, just comparing it to different series. Like whenever I power scale any series, I treat it as its own, at least at that moment. Because I mean, I know whenever you're having those kind of debates of like Goku versus Superman, you kind of have to merge the two. Because like to me, I wouldn't know what power level to give Superman. Like if a scouter were to read Superman's power level, I wouldn't know what to give him. And that's because I analyze the stories differently. But let's see what the chat has to say. Cough, cough. Future Trunks, cough. Merge Zamasu on par. Well, I don't... yeah, I already read that. Personally, I think the Universe Survival Arc is the last chance Dragon Ball Super has at being good. If they do it well, then I will have hope. If not, all of which are pretty bad. So, yeah, I mean, a lot of people have been saying it. Masako Exhibit has been saying it. I've heard other YouTubers saying it. That if the Universe Survival Arc doesn't at least deliver in the department we're looking for, which is good fights, then I am pretty sure that this series is not really going to be remembered too fondly. And, I mean, I know it's kind of like speculation, but, I mean, there are a lot of people, even though that it is bad, a lot of people in Japan will support the series. And a lot of people, including myself, here in America, will support the series. And people around the globe who also watch Dragon Ball will support the series, no matter how bad or how good it is. And to me, that literally makes me think that Super could last essentially indefinitely. So, I mean, yes, Snoopy Nader, I do agree with you that if this arc does not deliver on what we're looking for, we're probably just going to be going into every arc just expecting it to be crap. I mean, I know a lot of people already do that. But I'm actually pretty optimistic about this arc because they're not trying to give us a larger than life story, like kind of how they were during the Future Trunks arc. Because one thing about this arc is that they really, like I was saying, they're not trying to go for some kind of grand plot like how they were with the Future Trunks arc. It just seems like that this arc is trying to deliver just nothing more than good entertainment and nothing more than just say, I don't know, just good fights. Just something that will make the fans cheer. Something that will make the fans get pumped up. Let's see what else. When I power scale, I just look at previous feats and battles. I don't care about the numbers, but I do care about percentages. If Goku is 1000 times Kururin, I don't want Kururin fighting on par. Then, yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you that if Goku said that he was going full power during episode 84, I would be having a bitch fit. But for all we know, he was using 0.1000% of his power. And that the whole thing about the Super Saiyan Blue or the Super Saiyan Blue transformation is that there's an intense pressure that comes with that transformation. And it seems to be related directly to the God Ki. And the whole thing about Super Saiyan Blue during that time, that was just so he could show Krillin exactly what he was going up against. Or Kururin. I know you like that pronunciation better, Snoopy. But still, Goku was just going that power and saying, like, what are you going to do if something like this comes in front of you? I mean, I've never really been in a fight my life, but there have been situations where, like, whenever I started out bartending, like, I was not used to a busy shift. And whenever I was in training, like being a server, like whenever I was a server and actually going through training, being a bar back and stuff like that, like the head bartender pulled me aside and said, hey, what are you going to do whenever you're a bartender and you get a bar this full? What are you going to do whenever you get a bar this busy? So to me, I kind of see those two things as kind of comparable in a way. Even though it's not even though it's bartending and fighting, I see those two scenarios being the same. Because you can be, I mean, Krillin is just shown, like I said, what potential he possibly might have to face up against. And like I was saying, that bartender who was training me was showing exactly what kind of crowd I would have to deal with. And yes, by showing me that, I was kind of shitting my pants the first time. Don't get me wrong. But whenever you actually know what to expect, it's a lot easier to tackle than whenever you get shown that shit for the first time and you don't know what to do, or you're just like frozen or something like that. So that's kind of like one of the things that I rationalize that with. I kind of accepted that Goku was probably holding back in 84. I didn't like it, but whatever. 86 really gets me. Though, because that 17 actually beat SSJ Goku and was holding back against SSJ God Goku. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of one thing that I do agree with you on. But one thing is that, yeah, me and Particle were talking earlier, and he was saying that it's 17's grand first appearance again. So 17 appearing again, it's going to have to make an impact. Like, I know sometimes it might not be a logical impact, but he has to make an impact if he's going to be introduced in the series. Because another thing about Dragon Ball Super, I would imagine a good portion of the people watching the series have no idea who 17 is. Like, I mean, I'm sure that there are some people who watched that episode, and those flashbacks were probably literally the only indication of what they got, of what 17 was all about. What's up, Ultimate Killer Combat X? How's it going, bro? But yeah, I mean, whenever you got here, I was just talking about the power scaling between Goku and Piccolo. Not Goku and Piccolo, Goku and 17. Gosh, my mind is on that whole team up of 17 and Piccolo teaming up. So there's that Freudian slip there. That's the reason why. But seriously, I mean, if like I was saying in my review, if you were to lowball 17 right now, I mean, in my opinion, he would have to be at least as strong as Perfect Cell or Super Perfect Cell. I mean, there are people who say that 17 could probably solo all of Super. Like Geek List and I were talking about that earlier, and Geek List said that 17 could solo all of Z. And sorry that I said all of Super. I did not mean that. I meant all of Z. But I mean, the whole thing with speculating 17's power is that it's so open to interpretation because there is no definitive power scaling in Super. I mean, what do you guys think? How strong do you think 17 is right now? Because if I had to actually pin some kind of strength, because I'm not going to do power levels, not going to do power levels. I know my name is Golden Scouter, but if I were to have to get to actually estimate where 17 is right now, I would probably say he is a little bit stronger than SSJ3 Goku. And I know that that might be a little bit controversial, but after kind of discussing this kind of thing with friends like such as Geek List, conclusion that 17 is probably stronger than Super Saiyan 3 Goku. Let's see. Nothing much. I really like 17. I wonder if he will show us something new. I don't think so. I mean, the whole thing is with 17 is, and I mean, just with past characters in general, I don't really think we're gonna see anything too groundbreaking from too many characters. Like there might be one, two, or three new techniques, but I don't see anything like everyone like popping out a new technique. Because I mean, you could technically count the Kaioken times 100 as a new technique, but I consider that to be kind of just like a, I don't know, because it is an upgrade, but I don't really consider it to be too original. That's kind of like one of the things that bothered me. Because I mean, Super has been faking us out with this whole new technique thing. Like we saw it whenever the whole Goku and Krillin episode where Roshi's like, "Oh, there's a new technique if you get this plant for me," and then they get the plant, and it's like, "Oh no, there's no new technique after all. Fooled ya." So that's like one thing. That's one thing that's kind of pissed me off about Super lately is that they've been constantly faking us out on these new techniques. Like, as soon as I saw like Krillin has a new technique, I was like, "Oh, what is it going to be? Like a giant Destructo Disc, double Destructo Disc?" And it's like Kaioken or Taioken times 100. And it's like, oh, should have known. Okay, let's see. Goku was probably just training everyone or gauging their powers, not like he was actually trying that hard. Goku's smarter than you think, strategically, anyways. And yes, I agree. I mean, the whole like Team Four Star thing started the like not necessarily started, but kind of like made the whole Goku's an idiot into a meme. But Goku is definitely not an idiot whenever it comes to fighting. I mean, he was able to take out Raditz. Like him and Piccolo, their combination is able to take out a person of so much power that you think that the power difference would be enough to just crush them without any effort. Because I mean, we've seen in the Ginyu art, like the Ginyu saga, where Goku just KOs two of the Ginyu members, and they're estimated to be around 40 to 55,000 each. And while I don't really believe that Goku is at 90,000 the whole time, just based on Goku and Ginyu powering up during their fights, like it's really shown, I don't know, it's kind of inconsistent in the power scaling of like what it takes to one hit KO someone. But my point is that Goku actually figured out how to take out someone who was more than like probably 3 times stronger than him. So let's see. Something else that really annoyed me about 86 is probably the ending bit. 17 goes on and on about how he'll protect the wildlife, but he'll let the universe get destroyed for no reason. Yeah, I get that, but I mean, I kind of more see that as just more of like a accepting towards fate thing, or kind of like being like semi-detached from the world in a way. Like, I don't know if any of you have listened to George Carlin, but he kind of had like a stand-up comedy act in a way where he said, like, I kind of like view the world and I not really invested in it, but yet that guy was still very passionate about what he was talking about. And so to me, I view 17 as dismissing the whole, like, oh, the universe is just going to get destroyed, and I'm accepting towards that. I kind of view that as kind of like that same philosophy that George Carlin gave in that one stand-up act that he had. So that's just my opinion. Okay. I think he's strong enough to beat Perfect Cell easily. I mean, like I was saying, like people have speculated that he could solo like any form of Boo. So there's that too. To me, it makes perfect sense, to be honest. When the humans trained under Kami for 1 year, they got more out of it than Goku did after training for 3 years. Android 17 is a modified human. It makes sense. Yes, I agree. I mean, the whole thing is that what makes it so not implausible, and yes, the whole Golden Frieza thing is implausible, but that's what makes it more plausible. Like, since in Super, they're kind of establishing that, like, if you're some kind of a special being or something like that, you don't have to train as much to get the huge gains as the others. And I know that it is BS. Yes, it is. Because you can argue that in Dragon Ball, that Goku and Vegeta in their base forms never got stronger than 100% Frieza, who is at 120 million. And just all of a sudden, Frieza is able to just multiply his power just by an astronomical amount. Like, I know it goes against everything previously that was established, but that's the thing about Super. Super is something that's introducing new ideas, new concepts, and it's establishing that's not going to be exactly like Dragon Ball or Dragon Ball Z was. So I definitely don't expect it to be. See what else? Margin Vegeta! If I were to completely ignore his fight with SSG SS Goku, which makes no sense, I'd say he should probably be around SSJ3 Gotenks if he trained for the decade or so between the Buu and this arc. Gosh, I mean, whenever it really does come to power scaling 17, there is no easy way of doing it. There really isn't. Like, you're going to talk to so many people, and you're going to hear so many spins of what they think of how strong everyone is. Like, me and Real to Real have a video where we actually go through and power scale everyone based on like the grade scale, like in Yu Yu Hakusho. Like, we gave them like the D through C through B through A through S ranking. But I mean, even then, like, that scale is probably obsolete at this point. Okay. It says that he has the ability to absorb other androids like 18, 16, or even Perfect Cell. I don't think so, Ultimate Killer Combat X. Do you think is that just the Dragon Ball Heroes thing? Because to me, I mean, in my personal experience, the only place where I've seen 17 be able to actually absorb other characters is in Dragon Ball Heroes. Okay, after 10 years, over years of 10 years of training, he improved that much. It makes more sense than Frieza getting that strong in 4 months, at least to me personally. Yes, I agree. I mean, if 17 was training for 10 years, that makes perfect sense. My problem is putting 17 in the god tier range. And why is that, you ask? Because if 17 was in the god tier range, then why wasn't he the one who fought Beerus back in the Beerus arc? That's my major beef with him being god tier. But I definitely don't have a problem with 17 being up to, say, Super Saiyan 3. Frieza getting strong in 4 months is also stupid. Two wrongs don't make a right. Yeah, that's true. But it is also true that two wrongs kind of makes a who cares, like, in a way. Like once you dive down that rabbit hole once, the second time you do that same thing, like I know there are two new viewers in the chat, but the thing I was talking about was 17 getting such a huge massive power up. So you go down the rabbit hole the first time of Frieza getting such a massive power up in 4 months. Suddenly you go down that again, like down the route with 17, and suddenly it doesn't seem so ridiculous anymore based on past information. Okay. Will 16 return? Honestly, I just want 17 to acknowledge that 16 tried to save his life. Like, honestly, like, that's basically like what I've wanted since the start. Like, I was just like, I wanted 17 to be like, 16 sacrificed his life for me. Like, I was so disappointed last episode that 17 did not talk about 16. I was just like, at least acknowledge your buddy who sacrificed your life for you. I mean, he did. He fought that bugged freak who swallowed you up with his weird tail. Maybe their race improves slower than humans. I have no clue. Honestly, like, Super can write anything they want, and it's just plausible just based on writing. Like, I know it's pretty ridiculous, but gosh. Like, I mean, it, like I was saying before, like with this whole, like, the humans getting involved with god tier characters, all they have to do in the tournament is just fight people who are not god tier characters, and they'll be fine. Like, there's no issue. All there has to be is just story writing that makes the god tier characters target each other and the non god tier characters target each other, and everything will be perfect. What are your opinions on the many dubs of Dragon Ball, by the way, especially specifically both from Dragon Ball, both main DBZ dubs, Kai, GT, and Super? I really don't like the English dub of Dragon Ball. Like, I know that's crappy to say, but I really don't like the English dub of the original Dragon Ball. And even I don't even like the DBZ dub anymore. Like, what ruined it for me is just seeing how passionate the Japanese voice acting is. And being introduced to Funimation Dragon Ball before, like, Chris Sabat and Sean Schemmel were, like, actually integrated in their characters and kind of knew what they were doing. Because, I mean, I'm going to go off on a tangent here. But you want to know why I think that Goku was portrayed as Superman whenever he was first introduced? Want to guess? Well, here's the answer, at least to my opinion. Whenever Funimation first picked up Dragon Ball, it was right whenever Goku was sparing Raccoon's and Burter's life, and Goku being upset that Jace was killed by Vegeta. So based on Goku wanting to spare all of those Ginyu members, Funimation, in my opinion, chose to capitalize on the whole hero aspect. So if you were to ask me, that's the reason why why Goku is so commonly known as Superman. It all began with Goku sparing Burter, Jace, and Raccoon. And Ginyu to an extent. Because, I mean, even in the Japanese, Goku is kind of more of like a bleeding heart more than what he usually is in that arc. Because I know beforehand, he did spare Piccolo, he did spare Vegeta, but it's not on the same level as him just sparing just some random henchmen like the Ginyu Force. And since there was so many sparings in just consecutive order, like, so to say, I think that kind of enabled the fact that Funimation could capitalize on Goku being a good guy. So there you go. Let's see. No, bro, 17 can really absorb other androids. He can even transform into Super 17 without fusing. Yes, you are talking about Heroes Ultimate Killer Combat. Because that's the only thing I've literally seen where 17 can absorb things or other androids. So, I mean, if you're counting GT, yeah, then 17 can merge into his with his Hellfighter self into Super 17. But then you said that he can transform into Super 17 without fusing, so that kind of confuses me. But does 17 know that 16 is dead? That's a good question. I really, 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 really want 16 to be addressed by 17 or 18. I really want them to say, like, hey, this guy tried to save my life at one point. Like, he basically, like, stood in front of this monster who wanted to eat me. Yes, the English dub of the original series is so freaking bad in my opinion. There's so much wrong with it that I can't even express it. Same with the Z dub. What? You don't think that it's Mondo cool, Snoopy? Mondo cool? Or, I mean, come on. The whole Funimation dub inspired wonderful things such as K. As a matter of fact, it isn't. I mean, if you guys have seen that one meme from way back in the day, yeah, I just took you for the black to the past. To the shitty DBZ memes that sucked ass. That's a whole totally different thing right there. When it comes to the DB dub, outside of the inaccuracies and kind of mediocre voice acting, they took out the insert songs. That made the fight so much worse. Come on, you can't tell me that you like those weird Bruce Falconer soundtracks. Like, come on. Rock and roll. Do 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 do. Dragon Ball Z is action. America. Fuck yeah. Just kidding. No, Wolf Hurricane, no. Sorry, I can't pronounce that word. No Tenkaichi, no Dragon Ball Sorry, I'm really bad at pronouncing those words, Snoopinator. I'm going to cuss you out so hard if you say Mondo Cool one more time. That won't be Mondo Cool if you cuss me out for saying Mondo Cool. Mondo Cool. But yep, I'm gonna probably wrap this up in a few minutes if you guys don't have anything else to say. I've kept this stream alive for probably like an hour and a half. I'll just I don't know. Let me see. I'm gonna go through a list right now. And if any of these what if scenarios sound good to you, just let me know and be sure. Okay, Ultimate Killer Combat, I'll wait. What's up? I'll be sure to answer whatever question you got. So yeah, right now I'm getting hungry and I could really use some food. Making some beef tostadas tonight. Yep, I know you guys came over here for that to listen to that in a live stream, but do you remember any of the insert songs from Dragon Ball, by the way? Like Wolf Hurricane? Yes, I do. Some of them. What if Majin, but I don't know, just whenever it comes to Dragon Ball dub in general, I don't remember any of the English soundtracks if you're talking about that. But whenever it comes to the Japanese soundtracks, like, yes, I do. Because the thing about me, I was a shit whenever it came to watching Dragon Ball on Toonami. Like, I know this is going to come off as blasphemy, but you have to understand I did have the English dub, so maybe that excuses me a little bit. But whenever Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z was on Toonami, I used to skip Dragon Ball. Like, I used to watch Dragon Ball Z, and then whenever Dragon Ball came on, I used to switch it to Nickelodeon. So I know that those who are huge fans of the original Dragon Ball are going to be like, what? How could you ever do that? And the truth is, I was young and dumb. I was like, what, like 8, 9, 10 years old whenever I was watching Dragon Ball and Toonami, like in the year 2000. Well, born 1991, so I'll let you do the math. What if Majin Buu absorbs 17 to win the tournament? That's interesting. I've said it before, I really want Majin Buu's absorption to take some kind of role in the future. I mean, we haven't seen it in so long. Like, I would say we haven't seen absorption since we have seen the Candy Beam. And to me, like, I know it's going to probably be against the rules to absorb other team mates from other teams, but I don't see any reason why it would be against the rules to absorb teammates on the same team. Let's see. I'm not referring to the English songs. I'm talking about the songs that have lyrics. They're called insert songs. They were the Japanese dub and taken out of the English dub. I don't know them by name. A lot of the Dragon Ball songs I don't know by name. I mean, just whenever it comes to anime songs in general, I usually have to hear it first before I would actually recognize it. But I mean, the thing about me whenever it comes to just Dragon Ball songs in general, like I kind of remember the songs from the movies more than I actually do from the show. So that to me, like I only know the only songs I really know by heart are just the ending theme song from the Cooler movies. Both Cooler movies, they both have really amazing ending themes. And the other one I know is from the Bio Broly movie. Like, strangely enough, like the Bio Broly movie actually came out with a pretty decent soundtrack for actually being, I don't know, pretty boring movie in my opinion. I mean, a lot of people say like, hey, like the side characters get some shine in this, but it's just a boring movie to me. Songs like Mezase Tenkaichi, which played in the fights like Goku versus Jackie Chun or Goku versus Kururin. The dub took those songs out. And yes, I agree with you. There are some, I mean, even though I'm not like too familiar with the songs by name, but the Japanese soundtrack was way better in Dragon Ball in many instances. I would probably say all instances, but one that really stands out that really was taken away from the English dub was whenever Gohan turned Super Saiyan 2. The Super Saiyan 2 transformation in Japanese, that music makes that scene way more powerful in my opinion. And the whole thing about, I don't know, it's just ridiculous to me that they would take out something that would be so iconic. Let's see. Can 17-bit beat Hit or Frost? Frost, probably Frost. Hit, no. Can 17 beat Broly? Broly is a weakling. like Broly, it really depends what movie you have him in whenever it comes to, because I mean, yes, no guys, Broly's not a weakling whenever it comes to the the part where he was in, but he's a weakling in the grand scheme of things. Because one thing about the movies, you kind of have to take in mind that whenever they were written, the way they power scale the villains is they power scale the villains in, I don't know, adjacent to what the current main villain is. So to me, putting Broly stronger than Perfect Cell or Super Perfect Cell is kind of nonsense. Because I think in movie 8, he is probably as strong as Perfect Cell. I believe he is as strong as Perfect Cell in movie 8. And that's based on the time that it was made. A lot of people agree, and a lot of people don't. But from a storytelling perspective, Broly from movie 8 is around Perfect Cell. And I think it's movie 10 where it's Broly's return. Think it's movie 10. Let me know in the comment section if I got that wrong or in the chat. But in movie 10, it was stated that Broly powered up. And so to me, it would be fair to put him around Super Perfect Cell. Because around that point of the series, Majin Buu was not a thing. So there literally was no way to really say that Broly would be as strong as Majin Buu. And the whole thing about Broly's power overflowing, it's literally what it means. It's overflowing. Like, to give you a demonstration, because the thing is, I think a lot of people think of Broly's power like an ever-growing water balloon, whenever it really isn't. Like, Ki does not work like that in Dragon Ball. How Ki works in Dragon Ball is that you have an amount that you can carry in your body. It's established to be like that. Kind of like a cup. That if you fill the cup up too much, the water or the Ki, that will overflow over the cup. So whenever Broly says that his power is overflowing, it's not that he's getting bigger than what a normal water balloon would allow. It's that literally he's already exceeded his limits, but yet his Ki is flowing outside of his body. And it kind of goes the same thing whenever it is God Ki. Like, the whole thing with God Ki is that they trained with Whis so that way their Ki would not like actually leak out of their bodies. And it's kind of the same thing with Broly. It's just it wasn't explicitly stated as clear. So to me, the whole analogy of a body of Ki being kind of like a cup instead of like a water balloon makes more sense to me than like Broly just being able to infinitely gain his power up to just any standard. And I know there's a new viewer, but like I was saying, Ki is kind of like a cup, and once you fill it up so much, that's its limit. And so whenever Broly says that his Ki is overflowing, it's kind of like water overflowing out of like an overfilled cup. But now onto the chat one more time. Masako Nozawa's performance along with the incredible original soundtrack. When Gohan goes SS2, all of that is incredible. One of the best moments in the arc. Honestly, I would probably argue that that's probably like the best moment of the arc. I mean, besides the whole Goku like speaking to Gohan about, I don't know, believing in himself, that he's not using all of his power. Which, by the way, Gohan definitely was not as strong like his second time around going SS2 as he was whenever he first went against Cell. Because a lot of people don't realize that whenever Gohan was getting pissed off at Cell for releasing those Cell Juniors, Cell noticed that Gohan's Ki was rising. So whenever you see Gohan go SS2 against Super Perfect Cell, that's an even more strong version of the Super Saiyan 2 transformation. Just a fun fact there. Who would win, Hulk versus Doomsday? I don't really know much about Doomsday, but I would want to say Hulk. Who would win, Millennia versus Druid? I don't know those. And who would win, Lizard or Killer Croc? I don't know who Killer Croc is. I'm so sorry, Ultimate Killer Combat X. I really wish I knew who those people were so I could answer your question. SSJ2 Teen Hogan versus... I assume you mean Gohan and not not Hulk Hogan. But thanks, Majin Vegeta. I hope that my content does not disappoint you. Okay. Killer Croc is the Batman villain. I would probably say Lizard. I mean, just based off the universes that Batman and Spider-Man are off of, I mean, Spider-Man does seem to be a little bit more superior whenever it comes to power and that kind of stuff. So, I mean, with someone who knows a little bit about the Spider-Man series and not very much about the Batman series, I would say that Lizard would probably win. But I could be very, very wrong. Wrong. I barely know anything about Batman besides the Solo's Dragon Ball Z. Yes, I agree. But I also think that Super 17 in his initial form is stronger than Super Baby Vegeta. And for those of you who have watched the Japanese dub, Goku flat out states that Super Baby Vegeta is stronger than Vegito. Because Goku does say that Super Baby Vegeta is the largest ki he has ever felt. So there's that too. All right. Well, I think I'm going to end the stream now. If you guys want to ask any more questions, I have about 30 seconds. But other than that, I'm going to stop the broadcast in about a minute. So feel free to ask your last questions in the comment section. Well, chat. Super Baby Vegeta stronger than Birasu. Confirmed. I mean, if you want to take, yeah, I mean, some people have argued that if you want to take GT to be the next step after Super, I guess. Yep, Super X, Superhuman Saiyan Machine X. Yep, I agree with you. Well, I would probably say that 17 solos everything up until Super Buu, and so, but I don't know. I kind of have to explore the power scaling in Super in general just to see what I definitively think. All right, well, thank you guys for this stream. I am going to head off now. So I hope you guys have a good night and look forward to my gaming videos on Saturday and my Super review on Sunday. Catch you guys down the road. Have a good night.